All right, video 6. I just finished listening to Mark Manson's new podcast called Solved. He made a podcast on luck, which I found fascinating because I'm like, how can you? Luck is just this arbitrary thing. It's out in the ether, whether you believe in God, the universe, whatever gods you believe in, or if, I believe in one God, but, people have different perspectives on this. And I'm like, how are, like, how can you make a podcast? So I listened to it anyway. It was like 4 hours long. Um, and what I gathered from it mostly, and they use a lot of stories and examples and historic examples, and the people who kind of talk about luck a lot. There's three aspects of luck. There's like heaven luck, earth luck, and then human luck. And heaven luck is basically like you absolutely have no agency. That's the birth lottery, where you were born, who you were born to, the family you were born into, like where, like location wise, even if you're in a rich city, did you grow up, were you in a really like nice neighborhood? Because, cities do have very poor neighborhoods. Like all those things, you have zero agency. Earth luck is kind of like, the way he explained it is like when you're playing poker, it depends on what table you sit in. So what table are you sitting in, and what environments are you putting yourself in? Who are you around? Who are the people around you? Like that, you have a little bit of control, but not as much. And then human luck is basically how you deal the cards that you were dealt. Like how do you use them to your advantage? Because we all have advantages in some shape or form. And then you use those to your advantage, which most of us say it's not fair, but it's like, well, you had some advantage. Use them, It's like when you play a video game and certain characters have certain skills and assets they have to them that they only could do. So I always loved Final Fantasy growing up, because Final Fantasy, you had a black mage who did like magic that would attack the enemies. You had a white mage who would like protect and heal your party. You had a warrior who would, do the most damage with regular attacks and knew how to use different variety of weapons. You had a thief who would steal certain items that you can use for battle, and do like trickery, like for the enemies to not like attack your party. So they were like another protector. And there were a lot of other attributes that certain characters did have, but like they were all, you get that party member and they will have that specific skill set, and you would use that to your advantage in every battle that you got into. You couldn't just make, at least not until future Final Fantasies, but earlier, you couldn't make your thief into a mage, for instance. That just wasn't possible. But until like Final Fantasy X, or well, Final Fantasy maybe 6, you were able to do that if you wanted, which is not realistic in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it was a fantasy game, so anyway. But those characters have that, and we do too as humans. So it's like, what genetic lottery did you get, and can you use that to your advantage in today's society? And what's great is that society moves in seasons, and it's kind of cyclical. So things that are important today may not be important in 10 years, and things that aren't important today will be important in 10 years. So there's always something that you can use to your advantage, but you just have to be aware. So building self-awareness is very, very imperative in these states. So he talks about that luck a lot, and how, luck is partially like, magical in a sense, right? And they even use studies on like thoughts, and like if someone believes they're lucky, they're more likely to see. It's like their brain is activated to see opportunities more so than a person who's pessimistic, who doesn't believe in luck, will not see those specific outcomes or opportunities present themselves to them. So there's like a whole mindset piece to this. There's a whole decision piece to this, and self-awareness, where you have to build and learn, which is just part of the game in life. Like if you're not learning, I always learn, like if you're not learning, you're dying. So I love to learn, love to read. I talk a lot about that in this channel for years that I've had this channel of like books that I've read. And every time I talk, I always bring up some book that I read or some podcast I listen to, because I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly spending my time still bringing on. I learned more now than I did in college. College to me was a waste of time. Didn't teach me nothing. Like the real world taught me stuff. I feel like college is good to like build friendships and learn how to be, in my very black and white thinking, a slave to modern day society. So that's kind of what uh, drew me to this podcast because I was fascinated by it. So it was, to me, it's that simple. 4 hours, I just saved you time. Unless you're willing, you want to like listen to some of the stories, and you want to listen to a lot of the historical examples. He does use several studies, but that's basically it. As long as you know those three, which comes from I believe it's like a Chinese philosophy about luck, um, which makes sense because if you think about your life in a nutshell, you're like, okay, like these are the cards I was dealt, and this is how I've played them so far. And mostly luck is based on decisions, right? Decisions you make, whether you, well, decisions you make and not make, because not making a decision is still a decision, which is why I'm such a decisive person, because I kind of figured this out early on in life that like whatever I do, whether that was like me making the choice and decision to move out here to California, and doing that really shifted my income potential. Um, and having the right people on my side also helped me a lot in, making the right decisions to keep relationships close, check in with people frequently, and do those things. That was a decision on my part. I didn't have to do that. And if I didn't do that, I'm pretty sure other people wouldn't as well. So you kind of learn, you learn from your mistakes and you make better decisions with those, but you still have to make the decision even if you made a mistake. Like I just, my first video of the challenge was me quitting my very high paying job, and I made a bad decision. Like, and I made it based on just like greed, which, I'm a very religious person. So for me, I was just like, that's not worth it. And I think God, or, it's whatever you believe in, made me realize that and say like you just have to be patient and wait, something better is coming your way. And I choose to believe that. Again, a luck piece, and I'm pretty sure I'll be lucky sometime in the future. At first I thought this was lucky, and then I realized I wasn't that lucky. If anything, this was going to bring more chaos into my life if I kept going. So I decided to stop it, take something else that was lesser pay, but I have more opportunity and I have more closeness and I have more stronger relationship bonds. And that's what's going to get me somewhere eventually if I'm just a little bit patient. And I'm a very impatient person. So it's hard for me, but I'm learning and I'm diving into that and creating my own luck in that way. So anyway, that's just a quick story. I just want to talk about luck a little bit today. But yeah, tomorrow, video number 7.